Yo, Bo. Welcome to another episode of In the Life with MightyFan. We got another vehicle vlog on this yet another hot day in the middle of the summer. What's today? July 11th, 2024. On the way to the ballpark, Phillies-Dodgers. Phillies already won the series. First two games. This is the third game. And we're hoping for a sweep against Pistols-Dodgers. Shout out to Pistol. Shout out to all the Dodger fans out there. But, you know, we just had to teach you all a lesson over the past couple days. And if you were to have told me before the season started that the Phillies would have had 60 wins prior to the All-Star break, it would have been, I wouldn't say unbelievable, because they're a pretty decent team, but it would have been pretty tough to believe that would have been the case. But here we are on July 11th, and that's the case. They're 60-32 heading into tonight's action. And at least on paper, they got the pitching matchup. Nola on the mound, and, you know, see what happens tonight. But, exciting stuff, you know. It's been a pretty exciting last month or so around here. The Phillies, of course, playing the way they've been playing. As I mentioned in the last video, Mishkov came over from Russia. The Mad Russian will be on the Flyers this season. That's exciting. Good young prospect that he is. And like I said before, you got to have offs to win in hockey. You know, Florida, they had some offs on the team and they won. So it's still going to take some years for the Flyers, but you got to have some offs, some good ones. Good Russians with the last name ending in Ov. That's how you win. I remember from the 90s, and the Red Wings had a lot of Ovs. Lightning had a lot of Ovs. Panthers, like, you know, you need Ovs, good ones on your team to win. So the Flyers, hopefully with Mishkov, can turn their fortunes around. And the Sixers have been making some moves, huh? Paul George is a Sixer. Going to wear number 8 for Kobe. And they got Martin from the Heat, who's supposedly a Boston killer. Maybe Andrew Toney 2.0. You never know, right? It's been a while. I know. You know, Maxey got the max extension, rightfully so. You know, Oubre Jr. is back. Andre Drummond is back. They got some pieces. They still have work to do, but, you know, so far I think it's been a pretty decent offseason for them. Time will tell whether everything will work. I mean, obviously with the Sixers, it's been problematic getting out of that second round. So hopefully they could do exactly that. I also noticed I went the wrong way, so we'll have to correct that. But you know, we will see. You know, time will tell. I'm still, you know, looking forward to basketball and of course hockey seasons. But before that, we do have baseball. We do have the rest of the baseball season, and then of course the postseason, the hunt for Red October yet again. Maybe this year will be the 1 seed. I mean, you never, you know, even if they're the 1 seed, I mean, you still got to win the series. So I'm not going to put the cart before the horse just yet. I just, you know, I'm just trying to enjoy the season. And of course, we got football season coming up too. And the Eagles yet again will be donning the Kelly Greens, as they should, twice this season. Yet again against that wonderful traditional rival Jacksonville. But at least this year they are going to wear the Kelly Greens against an actual rival in Dallas in the last week of the regular season at home. So that's going to be fun. And yes, I know I have a lot of nostalgia. As you can see, we're in the old Phillies. Tonight is 80s night at the ballpark. And it was night. There was no way I was putting on a jersey tonight. So, went with the throwback colors, of course. Got the 80 Champs hat on. 80s night at the ballpark. Phillies, of course, every Thursday home game wear the powder blues. Love them so much. They'll be wearing them again tonight. And 80s night at the ballpark. But yeah, the Kelly Greens, there was some talk whether or not they were going to wear them again. And I'm like, there's money involved. Of course they're going to wear them again. As hot as they sold last year, I just think it has to be a staple now. And of course the powder blues for the Phillies. And then we got snookered a little bit. The Sixers did like a video for, they did some sort of like Tyrese Maxey museum. It was a little odd, but it was done for him and his family primarily, but like, you know, showing the appreciation for Maxey after they maxed out his extension. And Dr. J was there, Joel Embiid was there, and I believe it was Dr. J who presented him with a jersey. And the jersey that they had, every single jersey that Tyrese Maxey has ever worn as a Sixer up on a wall to this point, right? And then they gave him this other jersey that he hasn't worn yet, and it was a throwback jersey, and it was the jersey that Sixer fans have been longing them to wear again. The Iverson Era Black jersey. And it was just odd that it was that jersey. And it was almost like a sign, oh, they're finally going to wear it as a throwback. They're going to wear it as a classic edition. We all got so excited. And then it was kind of, I don't know, officially said, but it was kind of said that they're not going to wear them this coming season, but the following season. I don't know why. It's 2 years away, and they were giving Maxey the jersey. That really didn't make a whole lot of sense, but it's the Sixers. You know, their PR team is not really the greatest in the world when it comes to fan, you know, connecting. But apparently we have to wait a couple years, but they're going to wear them as a classic edition in a couple years. Now, I don't know. I mean, that year, that season will be, I believe, what, 2026? 2027 season. And of course 2026 is a big year for really the whole country, but of course for Philly with the country's 250th birthday. And I don't know if the Sixers, because I mean their name is the 76ers, it's for 1776. I don't know if their plan is to like wear a bunch of jerseys from their history. I don't know. I don't think it's an anniversary year for the Sixers, but it's an anniversary year for the country. And I mean, I can kind of see the Sixers doing that kind of thing where, okay, we're going to just go all out, you know, wear a bunch of throwbacks that year. Maybe that's why. I can't really understand what other reason they would wait instead of just, you know, you gave Maxey the jersey, let's just wear them this season. You know, this is like the debut, right? It really doesn't make any other sense to me. Now, for all I know, in a couple of years, they could just wear that one as the classic edition. A lot of teams just wear like one throwback as their classic edition jersey for the teams that have done it. The Sixers have only done it once since Nike took over, and the odd thing about it, I like the jersey, but it was that full scripted 76ers jersey. That jersey was like worn like the fewest seasons of any jersey that they wore. I think it was only a season or two. It was like the 1970 jersey, the home jersey. So it's odd that would have been the only one they would have worn as a throwback classic edition to this point. And the Sixers have had so many beautiful jerseys throughout their history. It's like, I don't know why they don't do it don't do it more, because there's money involved. I mean, people will buy them. I mean, you're looking at one of them right now. But you know the Iverson Era Blacks, I mean, it's a good look. It was the last time the Sixers had a season where they got out of the second round. Went all the way to the finals that year in 01. What a great run that was. That was the the last great year I've had, you know, as a Sixer fan. It's been tough. So I would like to see them again. You know, it's a good look. I mean, but I don't care. I don't care what player wears those jerseys, whether Embiid, Maxey, George, whoever. There's only one player I'm ever going to think of in that jersey, and that's Iverson. I mean, he made that jersey. That whole look that they wore, you know, the black with the red and the gold trim and the silver, you know, whatever that tail sweeping ball logo. I mean, that's the Iverson era. Obviously, when Iverson was drafted, they wore, which is another jersey they should bring back as a throwback, with that Greek lettering, Sixers across the front. They still had the red, white, and blue. And then, of course, when he came back, he wore red, white, and blue too. But most of his career as a Sixer was in the black or the white or the blue alternate of that particular style. And that jersey and that logo will always be synonymous with Iverson. And he's my all-time favorite Sixer. So, I mean, I would welcome seeing it back. But, it's him that I'm still going to think about when I see that jersey. And I hope they do the court the way they used to have the court back in those days. I'm sure they will, because all the teams do that. It's cool to see. You know, I know, you know, you get in the feels, you get the nostalgia vibes, right? But, you know, again, it's like the Sixers, for a team that, and they were an expansion team, but they came in the league back in the 60s and, you know, from Syracuse. And even though they were an expansion team, I still look at them as one of the more, you know, historic teams in the league, only because you think of all the great players that played in the uniform. You think of all the, you know, the moments that they've had. And they've always had good-looking uniforms. I mean, we can kind of split hairs about some of the ones that they kind of tried to adapt and change and do different stuff. But to me, the Sixers have always had good-looking uniforms going back to their inception. Even the old Syracuse Nationals jerseys were nice. And I remember when they wore them as a throwback many years ago when Iverson was here. It was a good look. And, you know, all the jerseys they've worn, I think they look great. And I kind of understand if they don't want to do like the 70s jerseys, because what they wear today is kind of a homage to their 60s and 70s jerseys combined. You know, because you got the filla on the front, and that goes back to the 60s, and then the 70s, you got the stars and stripes down the side, and they do that for the jersey. It would still be cool to see those jerseys again. I mean, the psychedelic-looking letters across the front, the Sixers font, you know. You think of the Dr. J poster or shot of him going up for a dunk in the white jersey. And it's a good look. I always liked the font of those jerseys back in the 70s. And the Sixers had some really good teams back then. And then you think about, you know, the 80s and into the 90s with just a plain red. And it's just a good look. And I know the Sixers wore that years ago as a throwback, an anniversary year to the 83 team, which was the last team that won the title. And Iverson was here, and he wore that jersey. So, you know, and I think it was just for one game against Portland. And the Sixers won that game. And but that's a good look too. That's just a classic good look. You know, if they wore that as a classic jersey, home or away, I think that would be a good look. Like I said, when Iverson was a rookie, that particular jersey, it's an iconic jersey too, because the home version, that's when he crossed MJ over. I know, because I was there. And the away version's a nice jersey too. I think the only other time that I can remember them wearing a throwback, I think, was Embiid's rookie year. And they wore the blue Filla jersey from the 60s that Iverson made famous on the Slam magazine cover. They wore that jersey his rookie year because it was the NBA 50th anniversary season. The Sixers wore the blue Filla throwback from the Wilt days as their throwback jersey that year. And so they wore it again because that was an anniversary year for the Sixers, I believe. And Embiid wore that jersey, and I think he wore it on the Slam magazine cover too, kind of as an ode to Iverson, to the Iverson cover. And it was a cool jersey. I kind of wish I picked it up, then I didn't. I have the Iverson, I have the Mitchell and Ness, Iverson, both runs of it, the old run and the newer China run of it. But maybe someday they'll make the Embiid jersey and I can get that too. I think it even had an anniversary, like a logo or something on there. But I know for sure. I remember I have it on a hat, that anniversary logo. I think it was for like the anniversary of the '60s championship team. Instead of a team, I think it was the anniversary of their I want to say their first title as the Sixers, because they did win a championship as the Syracuse Nationals that carried over from those days. But as the Sixers, I believe they've only won 2. In the '60s with Wilt and Hal Greer and them, I think Chet Walker was on that team too. And then 82, 83 when Moses came along. It's been a while. But, obviously the last year they were in the finals was 01, Iverson, and that incredible run that just captivated the city. Iverson's MVP season. They just lost to a juggernaut team. That Laker team, anyone was going to lose to them, It was amazing they won one game. In overtime, game 1 in L.A., which was the first loss the Lakers had in the playoffs that year. That just shows how great a team they were. And, of course, then they won the next 4. And that was it for that. But it was just an incredible run. And, you think of that jersey. To step over, Iverson stepping over Tyronn Lue. And, it just, they just had so many iconic moments in that jersey. So it would be cool to see it again. And like I said, when Maxey was gifted that jersey, it just set off a firestorm. Everyone was like, oh, they're going to wear it. They're going to wear it. And then we hear, well, it might not be until 2 years. It's like, God, why did they tease us then? That's the Sixers being the Sixers, man. They got to give us agita. But, it's good to see. That they are going to embrace it and they're going to wear it. We just have to wait another year. But, we'll see. But, of course, the other news, jersey-wise at least, is you have the Fanatics. They unveiled their authentic on-ice jerseys for the NHL. I think they look really nice. It's the same shell as the Adidas jerseys. They changed them a bit. There's no more dimples on the shoulders, which is good. Obviously they're not available yet for retail, so we have to kind of wait to see how they're going to fit. And I believe they're going to do, if I heard right, they're going to do different tiers. Of course, the breakaway, like basically the replica, they're still going to be there. And I think there's going to be a version that's up from them, and then the one that's going to be as close to on ice as you can get. And I can't imagine what the price tag is going to be on those. I would hope that they learned a lesson from the MLB and don't go like authentic MLB pricing, $400 whatever dollars. That would suck. Because I think Adidas was pretty fairly priced for their authentic line. You're never going to get what they wear on the ice. And to be honest, those jerseys, unless you find like a team issue or game worn on eBay or so, to be honest, those jerseys are almost unwearable anyhow. They're just too big because they make the jerseys really big, particularly goalie cut jerseys, because they have to have them fit over all the padding that the players wear. It's the same with football. Football, though, they make them very thin and sleek, tight to the body. Shout out to Jersey Head University. There's no way you're going to see me in one of those jerseys, but you can. You really, those jerseys aren't made to be worn out in public, They're just made to be worn on the field or on the ice. I think that the one that has the closest to it is the MLB. But, the price tag is just way too crazy for authentics. And particularly now, because they're making the replica jerseys with, if they have a number on with a number on the front, like I showed you some time ago at the KOP Mall at that Rally House, the powder blue jerseys for the Phillies. Now they have the number on the front for the replicas, right? If there's a patch on the sleeve, they put the team logo or something. It's on there. And any extra stuff like anniversary patches or memorial patches or something, you would have to get separate. But everything else is on the replica jerseys now, whereas back in the years ago, up through last season, they weren't. You know, they were just kind of, you know, just name and number on the back, team name on the front, and that was it. That was all you were going to get. Now at least they, you know, they do make them look a little more to what the authentics are with all the extras, as much as they can put on, which I like. I'm not a fan of the kitty size lettering on the back, which they're going to change next season. They're going to go back to what it was because the players complained. So they're going to do that, and they're going to change some other things with the jerseys to have them kind of go back. I have no idea why they decided that was a good idea. The font size, it just made no sense to me at all. It just really. But again, that wasn't a Fanatics issue. People were complaining with Fanatics. It was a Nike issue. Nike's the company that makes the stuff. Fanatics sells it. Nike makes it. They produce the stuff. People were jumping down Fanatics' throats for that. It wasn't Fanatics' issue. Fanatics was selling them, but they didn't distribute the jerseys. That's Nike. And for the most part, for the NBA, I think they're well priced too. I think they're pretty good price for authentics. It's reasonable, which is, again, I just don't understand baseball. I don't know why that's the one sport that Nike just continues to say, oh, we're just going to throw them up for $400+ for authentics. It just makes no sense. Even into like a pay-in for something, it makes no sense to go after them, which is why I don't, unless I can find something really reasonable or on sale. I've gotten some stuff at the Phillies, clubhouse store because they have sales at the end of the season, and I get a little discount, being a ticket member, so, but even that's only like a handful of jerseys. I've gotten some stuff at the authentic stand because you can get team issue and game worn jerseys cheaper, depending on the player, than a retail authentic Bryce Harper jersey. It makes no sense. It's like, this is basically a jersey they're wearing on the field that I can get cheaper than a retail authentic. I haven't done it, but of course you can, they like what you'll find there, like the stuff that I would consider to be the more, reasonably priced jerseys at the authentic stand is like, might be a player that had a cup of coffee with the team from the minor leagues. It might be like a reliever, the first or third base coach jerseys, stuff like that. And you could get those and customize them into a player of choice if you want. But of course that costs more, and if I get one of those jerseys, I just keep it as is. To me, it's more about the jersey than the name and number on the back anyhow. Maybe it has like a special patch on there or something, or, just a jersey that it catches my eye, a number on there that just catches my eye. But that's the one gripe that I still have with Nike, is just the authentic pricing for jerseys. It drives me nuts when I see it. But they sell. Like, who the hell is buying these things at $400, some cases over $450? Like, what? How? I mean, some people just don't care, I guess. It's like, they just roll that way, I don't. I gotta keep the lights on in my house, But yeah, so that was the Sixers deal. And of course, I was talking about the Fanatics Authentic on Ice jerseys. I think they look good. Realistically, in 3 years, I think it is, that's when they can really change them and do like some different stuff, their own, whatever they're going to do with it. I don't think they're going to go too crazy. I think it would be a mistake. I think the one thing you got to say that I think may have been a positive from the Nike fiasco with the font sizing is that I think hopefully these other companies learn that you don't want to go too crazy, because then you're going to come under a lot of fire from both the fan base and from the players, and you want to keep the fan base and the players happy. So you go too nutso on stuff and change things too dramatically, that's not good. So hopefully these other companies learn from Nike's mistake with the baseball this season. But time will tell. We'll see. So there's that. And the other big news this week, just a couple days ago, which is very exciting, is that New Era now has the license to make NHL hats, which is super cool. New Era had the licensing years ago, and then they lost it. Fanatics had it. I wasn't like a hater of their stuff for hats, but it just wasn't the same. The New Era fitteds, whatever they did, even if it wasn't fitted, were just so much better than what Fanatics was doing with the hats. And when I heard that, it made me happy, because I really like the New Era NHL hats. I didn't have a ton of them. I did go after some when they were blowing them out on lids after they lost the contract. I mean, they were blowing out fitteds. And I wish I got more. I think at the time I just got the Flyers, I got 2 Blackhawks, and I got a Red Wings one. And I don't know why I didn't get more. Those are the only 4 I got from that, when they were just practically giving them away. I think they were like $10 or $15 each for fitteds, So what I'm hoping is that the first set that New Era drops, whenever they drop them, is going to be a set just like that. They were just clean fitteds. They were either, tonal in color or two-tone with the brim. And I hope they do like 1 tonal and 1 two-tone per team. Just don't even need any side patches, nothing like that. Just clean and classic looking per team. And at some point, I hope they do like some throwback stuff with like the vintage, like the old logos, or some defunct teams, or something like that. I think that would be great. And it's exciting, it is, because I know Mitchell & Ness, since they got the licensing back to the NHL, they put out some pretty decent looking hats. But I mean, it's, all due respect, it's not New Era. New Era to me still makes the best fitted. It always feels the best on my head. And, the fact that they got the NHL rights again is a great thing. Because I think they did a really nice job so far with the NFL. The NBA, I think they make some decent hats. MLB, obviously, that's the on-field fitted. We can gripe about the sizing problems or whatever, but I think overall it's still a solid hat. And the NHL, like I said, one of the last sets they did was just a clean set, and I hope they kind of bring that back. But I'm also excited for some of the other ones. I'm sure they'll do some stuff with side patches and whatever. Maybe do some anniversary, some, whatever, different Stanley Cups or whatever, different stuff like that. That would be good to see in fitteds too. That's the one thing that, Mitchell & Ness is kind of done, but for the most part, they've done it with snapbacks. And it's fine. I mean, I don't really complain about that. I'm wearing a snapback, trucker hat right now because it's just so damn hot out. But, New Era could do some of their fitteds with that, with those, side patches too. That would be something to look forward to as well. And I know some team stores have still put out like New Era fitteds for hockey. The Flyers are not one of them, but I think the Sharks were doing it for a while. Remember when Rez was, did a live at the SAP Center store, and you saw these Shark fitteds, the New Eras. And I forget if they still made them or if they were just putting them out there trying to get rid of them or whatever. But I know there were some team stores that still had exclusive New Era fitteds for the NHL. That was the only way to get them. Anything new, at least, in recent years. But now, the fact that they're going to have them, they have the rights again, that's great. Because not only are you going to find them at your, Fanatics, lids, all that stuff, but I'm sure there's going to be sets that are just team store specific, like the Phillies do team store specific hats, fitted hats for New Era. And I'm sure the Flyers are going to do that too. So it's going to be kind of cool to see what type of stuff they can come up with. And then, you just have to kind of follow the team stores online. Like, One of the ones I'm excited for, of course, is the Ducks, just for the the Jason Duck logo. I mean, I love the fact they brought. And speaking of that, I know they, both them and the Kings have rebranded, kind of went back in time a bit, not color wise for the Ducks, but the same colors they had. But the Jason Duck is now prominently on both home and away jerseys. And the Kings went back to the old Chevy logo, which they wore as a classic throwback for the white version. Basically the Gretzky years, Robitaille and them. And the Ducks went kind of back to that lovely, the Jason Duck logo, which I love. And I really like the way those jerseys look. So, yeah, I'm going to have both home and away at some point because you get all the Jason Duck jerseys. So, that's going to happen. Don't know when, probably slow roll it a little bit. No, I will not get a Cutter Gauthier jersey. That's not going to happen. He's an enemy here. So I don't know what player or players it's going to be, but I will definitely be getting the home and away set at some point. And at least one of them will be an authentic, unless the price is just crazy. One will probably be an authentic Fanatics, because I'm sure all the bells and whistles on it's going to be the best. But it depends on the price, of course. But I like it. I do hope at some point that they do kind of, even if they don't do one exactly as they wore back then, if they can bring back the old colors, the eggplant purple and the teal, and do something with that, in whenever they can. I don't think this year teams are going to get crazy with alternate jerseys. I think a lot of teams are just going to wear what they kind of had or brought out last season, and I'm glad for that. I like the Cali Finn jersey for the Sharks. I like that alternate black jersey for the Lightning with the throwback font. I still want to get one of those. So I'm glad that they're still going to be around. I think the Flyers are still going to wear the black jerseys, at least for another season. So I think maybe after this year or 2 years from now, you'll start seeing teams get a little more crazy with alternate jerseys. So, and maybe some teams do more with throwback stuff. I know the Hurricanes are going to wear the white Whaler jerseys again this season, and that's cool. But, so I think, after we get in a couple years and Fanatics really can get their talons into these jerseys, I think you'll see some teams start to do a little something different with their alternates, maybe do more classic jerseys. I really would like to see more classic jerseys, to be honest. There's only a handful of NHL teams that did it, and they still look great on the ice. So if they can do more of that, and I don't know if they're going to do a reverse retro type of deal like they did in the Adidas years. I liked it. I know all the designs weren't winners, but for the most part, I thought they were cool. I have a decent amount of them. There's still others I want to get at some point if I can. But I like that. I don't know. Maybe because I'm a collector, I like to see a variety, Seeing the same stuff over and over, it just gets kind of boring. And I like seeing variety. I like seeing variety in sports in the uniforms. Yes, there's more to buy because of it. And that's why they do it, let's be honest. They do it for money. And they certainly make enough of that by putting some of these jerseys out there. But I'd like to see more of it in hockey, because you see it in baseball, you see it in basketball. Football, obviously, now is being a little more widespread because they lax the helmet rule that, whatever, for the concussion or whatever. They make helmets more for that now than they used to. But hockey, I think, is still one that you don't see it enough. I like when teams do it. I think it still looks good, like when the Sabres went with the goat head jersey, or the Hurricanes wear the Hartford Whaler jerseys, or, other teams wear some classic jersey. The Kings wore the white, 90s jerseys. But I'd like to see more of it. And I think hockey still kind of lacks in that. They kind of, are behind the 8 ball. And I understand right now you're not going to see a ton because Fanatics just got their hands on the, licensing. So they're not going to go crazy in the first year. Is this guy gonna let me over? God damn. Freaking Schuylkill. But, you know, you already had rebranding by 2 teams, the Ducks and the Kings, and I'm sure others will follow. I mean, Utah doesn't even have a freaking logo or a name. It's the Utah Hockey Club. Should have just kept the Kachina jerseys for another year. I feel bad for the people in Arizona, I do. It's tough. Talk about just a classic looking uniform. That Kachina is still one of the best. So that was exciting. I was glad to hear that New Era, and of course in the hat community it just set it afire. Everyone's looking forward to getting those New Era fitteds for the NHL. So that was cool news. That definitely was. So good job by New Era to get the licensing back. And also good, I mean, I'm sure they got paid handsomely, but a good job on Fanatics to sell it to New Era, you know. I guess Fanatics figured, well, it's one less thing for them to worry, but I'm sure they'll still make some hats, but, you know, the official, you know, licensing is with New Era now. And that's good. And you'll still see stuff by Mitchell and Ness, too. You know, whatever they come up with. And speaking of that, oh, my goodness. Like I said, I'm a fan of the Jason Duck logo, and since Mitchell and Ness got the rights back for the NHL, they pumped out some stuff. And this fall, I mean, you know, you go on their site, you know, you see some of the new, you know, hoodies and the sweatshirts that are out available now. And of course, day like today, I'm not thinking about a hood. Although my buddy Big Slim, he wore a hoodie doing his walk in 100-degree weather. You know, Slim, he challenges himself, I know, but I told him, I said, Slim, I don't want you to get sick doing this stuff. But yeah, there was some nice looking sweatshirts and hoodies and long sleeve shirts and even T-shirts, you know, coming, you know, available. Certainly for the Ducks and the, you know, of course the local the Phillies and the Flyers and Sixers and the Eagles. So, oh my God, this is not going to be fun. This is my goodness. They had one. They had a couple hoodies that just absolutely jumped off the page for me. And there was an Eagles one. They had 2 Eagles ones. One had the old 60s logo on the back that had the Go Birds, and the other had the full, you know, flying eagle with the football in the talons logo I grew up with. And it said Go Birds, and that one's probably going to happen at some point. And they also had a Ducks one that had the, you know, the Jason Duck there, and it had the fly together on the back. And I'm like, oh, good God. Oh, that's going to happen at some point. Nice looking hoodies too. It's not always just about the jerseys and hats with me. If I see a good looking hoodie or a sweatshirt, you know, that's that catches my eye too. Don't always get them. There was a nice set Mitchell and Ness put out a few years ago. I didn't get one of them. I kind of wish I did. But there's gonna be a few more Jason Duck paraphernalia in my collection other than just the jerseys. That's definitely going to happen. Yes, we're going to be fully, you know, prepared for the fall over the next few years. It was like all I could do to not put some in my cart and just do the paying for and get them. They weren't on sale. Mitchell & Ness is having a sale now, I think summer sale. Those because they're new releases, so they're not going to be on sale now. But maybe by the fall, maybe by the winter, you know, I'll catch a deal, paying for, bum, dude, here it is. Oh, my goodness. But shout out to my good buddies, Big Slim and Mark M. We were together a couple weeks ago. Mark M. and I went to Maryland, visited with Slim for his birthday. We had a good time. I was glad Slim had a good birthday. We had some adventures. Slim got the better of me in the pool. We invented, you know, he got this like hoop set for the pool, and instead of playing horse, we played shark. And I got him in the first game, and then he got me in the next two. I thought I had him. I thought I had him in the third game, but he, Slim rose to the occasion. He made that hook shot, and once that went in, I figured, well, that's probably going to be it. It's like the old saying, man. You have someone down, you gotta end it. You gotta put them away. And I couldn't do it. And Slim couldn't put me away in game one, and then next game I almost made a comeback, but I was too far behind. And then the third game I had him. I went for the weakness, but he overcame the demons and he got me. So, but it was a lot of fun, and Mark M hadn't been there before, so it was his first trip there to the Slimdom, and he had a good time, and it was a lot of fun. I told them, we were sitting at Roy Rogers. We were sitting there eating. I said, it's just the one important thing in life is to have good friends, and I said I'm fortunate to have good friends I have, including them too, and tears were almost shed, but it is what. But it's good to hang around with good friends. It is, and that was a good trip. But at any rate, so next month's my birthday, so I'm gonna head over there, spend a few days down in the Slimdom there. One of those at some point in August. I'm gonna take the plan, at least. So I'm gonna take a week off work and have some time. Just to kind of have a little vacay. I have a lot of vacations I use, so I gotta use it. So it's one of those where if you lose it, you don't use it, you lose it type of deal. So, but yeah, it's Google, so there's gonna be traffic. That's for sure. That's for sure. But we're making it there. Game's actually a little early today. It's like a 6 o'clock start. Usually the game starts at 6:40, 7 o'clock. I don't know why it's a 6 o'clock today. It was like that when the schedule came out, but it is what it is. It's a real tough time to get there this time of day because you got rush hour, traffic, and it's trying. But we'll get there. So yeah, that's pretty much the jersey and hat news. I mean, all the big news. I've added a few things, two of which I'm waiting to show because I got another two from the same guy, same team, same style, and I'm waiting on those two to come in the mail. He still has to put them in the mail. I can't get them until he puts them in the mail. But I look forward to them. I do. I look forward to showing them to all of you. It's exciting. It's a style jersey that I've always liked, and they're authentic, versions of it. Vintage authentics. I'm not going to say what it is because I don't want to give it away just yet, but you'll see them soon enough. I know Slim just put out a new video on YouTube. First time in, he said, a year and a half. He has put out a video, so if you haven't already watched it, make sure you do. I have to see it myself, but he sent me the link early this morning and I had to get to work, so obviously I couldn't watch it before. Now I'm going to the game, so I'll be sure to watch it tomorrow, if not later tonight. Yeah, Slim's first vid on YouTube in quite a while, but it's good to see him, putting a vid up again. Hopefully many, 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 many more to come. We had one of my old videos in the background from Black Friday. Mark Mark M and me. I guess going over our pickups or whatever from that Black Friday at the old house, my old house. My goodness, the old house. So hitting Market Street here in Philly. I got to get over to Broad Street and then take that down. Usually I go this way to the ballpark. I mean, I used to take 95 and maybe that'd be a little quicker, but to get into the ballpark, I think it's easier going this way. Because coming off of 95 and it gets really crazy. So this way's a little more of a straight shot coming this side on Broad from the city instead of coming the other direction. It's been my experience anyhow, and I know today's going to be another sellout. Obviously, the Phillies are a hot team. They've been selling out all year, basically. But also, you have the Dodgers in town, Ohtani, and all that. So, you know, it's going to be another pretty nuts night at the ballpark, which is great to see. I love the atmosphere. I'd much rather have it like this than when the Phillies were bad. You know, and you have, you know, how many just not even half the fans. You know, and that's why, you know, we can appreciate seasons like this, like the past few years too, because prior to that, it was 11 straight years of no playoffs. So trust me, I mean, you know, yeah, 60 wins now is awesome, and I mean, I'm enjoying it, but I'm enjoying it because I know the other side of it all too well. You know, being a Phillies fan, most seasons have been, in my life, have been pretty rotten. You know, either last place finishes or just missing the playoffs. And I mean, you know, after that 07 to 2011 run, you know, 11 straight years, no playoffs. Just, you know, it sucked. I mean, you know, in some years they came close and just couldn't finish the deal. So it's been tremendous. It's been a, you know, Phillies renaissance for sure. And not only have they, you know, spent money and brought in players, but they have a really good farm system too, which is good because you can make some trades too. I'm not saying give up the farm. Some people want them to, but it's good because for a while their farm system was very barren, and really in recent years it's starting to bear some fruit again, which is great. Because you can't win without that. I mean, you can spend all the money in the world. You see these other teams do it, but I mean, do they win? I mean, the Yankees, the Dodgers, right? Even they. I mean, they spend so much money, but they have a pretty good farm system too. But it's the teams that are, you know, that have that farm system that you can be good for a prolonged period of time. So hopefully the Phillies have that. And it's cool because they have a nice collection of homegrown talent that are fan favorites, and then you have the other guys that were brought in that are fan favorites as well. And it's just a great group. I think the one thing I've been pretty lucky in my life that I've seen some pretty good groups on the Phillies over the years. I mean, you know, it kind of started with Macho Row, 93, that season that came out of nowhere, right? But then the 07 to 2011 run when you had the Utleys and the Howards and the Rollins. Rollins is my all-time favorite Philly. And then Hamels and, you know, that group. You know, just the all-timers on the franchise history. And then, of course, now what you have, you know, with the Alec Bohms and the Bryson Stotts and the, you know, Aaron Nolas and the, you know, the Ranger Suarez and the players that came up through the system. But then you also have, obviously, Harper. I mean, superstar, right? You have Schwarber, you have Castellanos. You know, you have guys that were brought in. Wheeler. Thank you, Mets. And then you know, the collection of other guys, right, who were really good moves. And now it's just this perfect storm, you know. And, you know, in my opinion, and I know I'm biased, but, I mean, they're the best team in baseball right now. Their record shows it. For a time, people were saying, "Oh, you haven't played any. They don't play anyone." They have the best record statistically against teams with an above 500 record. The Phillies have the number one record against teams with an over 500 record, including the Dodgers now. They're 2-0 against them. And they can play anybody, because the reason is because, yeah, their offense is good, but they can pitch. And, they have the starters and they got the relievers. And when you can pitch, and they can throw 4 starters out at other teams, you're going to win a lot of ball games. And that's really why they've won the games that they're winning. Their pitching is just, it's incredible so far. And I know some guys like Suarez seem to find a little dead arm here, but, I mean, you look at the All-Stars on this team, and you got Wheeler, who might not play, but you got Wheeler, you got Suarez, you got Strom, you got Hoffman. I really like Hoffman and Strom. I'm so glad they made the All-Star team. And if one of them can't make it, Sanchez might make it. I mean, those starters right there, those pitchers, I should say, starters and relievers, that's why they have the record they do. Yeah, they can score, and they're good at doing that. But, particularly when they got everyone in the lineup, we're still waiting on Realmuto to come back. But the pitching, when you look at the pitching, and they're well coached. Because guys have come from other teams, other organizations, or come up through the system, through the minor league, and they have found themselves here. Hoffman came from Minnesota. Strom came from, I believe, Boston when he came in. And they just found themselves on this team. I know Alvarado can be up and down, but he's kind of found himself from Tampa Bay coming to the Phillies. So they're just, they have a system that works, and it's great to see. Because you don't win without starting pitching. You can have whatever lineup you want. If you don't have pitching, you're sunk. And that's why some of these other teams, I mean, they're so good with their lineups, but then you look at the pitching, and that's what does them in. So that's why I think we have a good shot this year. Yeah, you got to put it together. You got to win in the playoffs. You can win 100 whatever games in the regular season. You got to win in the playoffs. But I think they have a good shot because they got the pitching, and as long as they can stay healthy, they have as good a shot as anyone this year because they can outpitch some of these other teams. That's why they beat the Braves the last couple of years. The Braves maybe on paper were better, but they weren't better pitching wise. The Phillies were able to to outdo them. They just ran into a buzzsaw that one year in Houston in the World Series, and then they just kind of got in their own way against Arizona. You give Arizona credit, but the Phillies should have won that series. They really should have. And I think they would have given the Rangers a much better World Series than the Diamondbacks did. I think it would have been a much better World Series. Probably a 6 or 7 game World Series, and I think the Phillies had a chance to win it. But, give the Rangers credit. They did what they had to do, and they won their first title. But, of course, it's always better when your team's winning, and it's just, particularly in baseball, because it's such a long season. And believe me, I've had seasons where they were just unwatchable, horrible. They just today, they went over the lineup from like 2015. They didn't win their 60th game that year until September. And they put out the lineup of that team. Oh my God. Oh. And those are the teams we had to watch, though, back then. So that's why you enjoy it. And there's a lot of talk on the radio, too. Like, fast forward, get to the playoffs. Listen, you got to you just have to enjoy this season. Fast forwarding it, getting right to October, just enjoy it. Because this is a fun team to watch. They're just, I don't want to hit the fast forward button, even though I hate the hot weather in the summer. I'd much rather October weather right now. But I don't want to hit the fast forward button. I want to enjoy this team. Because teams like this don't come around all the time. Even next season's not guaranteed what the record's going to be at this time. So, just enjoy it. They're a joy to watch. Don't hit the fast forward button. Because, believe me, in this town, we don't get teams like this very often. Usually it's disappointment and it's anger and it's frustration. So, believe me, when you have a team like this and here in this town, you really have to enjoy it. It's a treasure. But, I think we're in a good spot now. I know, our teams don't always let us, you usually go the other way, but I think we're in a good spot here. I think, we have some excitement. Philly's doing what they're doing. Like I said, the Sixers, making moves, and you have to see with the Sixers, but at least it's exciting. The Flyers with Nishkov coming over, that's going to bring some excitement to the Wells Fargo Center, and the Eagles, of course, they're just the heart, they're the lifeblood of the town. So regardless, they're always going to be in the conversation, and camp's going to be opening up soon, and Saquon in the fold now. Boy, the Giants did him dirty. If you see all the Hard Knocks, the in-season, the off-season Hard Knocks. I know there's so many Hard Knocks now, but I can never get enough of it. It's like I love more. The NFL films just does such a great job, but the Giants. So, oh boy, that was yeah, they didn't look so good doing what they were doing to Saquon. Like, if a team comes along that wants to pay you, okay, hello, we'll pay him. They didn't want to, so that's all right. He'll look good in the midnight in Kelly Green. So they're not quite to the moment where the Eagles got him in free agency. I look forward to seeing what the looks on the Giants' brass faces were when that happened. Like, oh, yeah, that might not be good. I'm reminded when I passed City Hall here, being here with my buddy Mark M. during the parade after they won the Super Bowl. I can't tell you. I know I've said this 1,000 times, and I'll say it again. What a relief it is to finally have won one, even though it was years ago. Just get that off the bucket list to see a Super Bowl parade. I hope to see more. I'm not just satisfied with one, but at least we got the one. Because God knows. Now, if I can just see one for the Sixers and Flyers, and then again, I want to see the Phillies again. Yeah. But, that would be nice. The Sixers for sure, because I've been through quite a lot with that team. Yeah, just a little bit. They've got my blood running just a little bit over the years. So, oh my goodness, this rush hour. Oof, this is terrible. So we're slowly making our way to Broad Street here. Yeah, this is rather nuts. Whose idea was it to get a ticket plan with the Phillies? I'm happy I do have it. I love going to the ballpark. It's just, particularly because when they're good, but it's a beautiful ballpark. It really is. If you haven't had a chance to get to Citizens Bank Park, you definitely should. Particularly when the team's good, because the atmosphere is just, it's insane. It's just, it's a party every night. It really is. And I mean, it's such a great atmosphere. And a beautiful ballpark. I mean, it's great that the team's really good, but that ballpark, it sets it all off. Uh-oh. I see police lights ahead. I hope they didn't close the road. I don't think they did, but you never know. You never know in Philly. They close roads just to close roads. It's like, let's just close this one today. Yeah, don't worry that it's in the middle of rush hour. We'll just close it. Yeah, that's the thing to do. It's the one thing about coming in the city that I'm not a big fan of if they have all road closures. Sometimes I'll come, to go to Mitchell and Ness or whatever, and it's just, finding my way around. Which is kind of easy in Philly. If you know where you're going, you're good. But it sometimes the roads that are closed, it's like I just want to go home. At this point, they got me looping around and all this and that. There's a lot of one-way streets. It's just, you kind of just have to just grin and bear it sometimes. I haven't been to Mitchell in a while. I do hope to get there in August. I want to go to the the corporate store. That's their clearance store. It's by appointment only, but I'll do that and go to say hi to the fellas at the flagship. Yeah, Josh is traveling around again. I think he's going to the MLB All-Star game now. You know, it's work expenses. Josh is the manager at Mitchell and Ness at the store, at the flagship. And he posted on Instagram the other day, because he had arrived in the Dallas area, and there was like a cowboy shop, I guess, in the airport. And of course, he's an Eagles fan, so I messaged him. I said, "Boo!" I said, and he wrote back. He said, "I know, right?" I said, "Well, I hope at least you're wearing your green there." He said, "Yeah, you know it." Don't let them turn you. But yeah, hopefully in August, I'll get over to the shop. It's been a minute. It's been a minute since I've been there. So hopefully during that week off, I'll make my way there and go to the clearance store and take a look around there too, see what's what. Sometimes, it's hit or miss. Sometimes they have stuff in there. Sometimes it's, but that's why, it's fun to go. You know me, with the brick and mortar stores, I enjoy going there. So, oh my goodness. So yeah, that's pretty much what's been going on. I know I haven't done a video since I showed the authentic MLB collection. I do hope to get the next one done soon, hopefully before the end of the month. I know I got the football jerseys to show, so that will probably be next. Will be one of the racks of Mitchell and Ness, unless I do the authentics first. We'll see, because I got the 3 racks down in the man cave, so 2 of them for Mitchell and Ness, the other for the authentics. So it will be one of those 3 racks, and then we'll continue along. So hopefully I'll have that video out by hopefully within the next few weeks. I know people have been looking forward to seeing the football jerseys and the basketball and the hockey, but like I said, the basketball and hockey, that's probably going to have to wait till the cooler months come back, because I can't film up there in this heat. So I'm saving that for the end. But I hope to get that vid out, the first of the 3 for the NFL. Not, of course, not the Eagles will be its own video towards the end of the deal, but the other jerseys we'll go over rack by rack. Oh my God. No, that guy has a flat tire. Oh my. That's real flat. He's got his four-ways on, so he knows it. But he's still driving. He probably should turn. There was a parking lot, right? Anyhow. We are in the city, after all. You never know where you're going to see. Yeah. I'm not the biggest. I don't know if there's anyone out there who is, but I'm not the biggest traffic fan. So, all right, we'll just wait here. Okay. So McDonald's has this new dipping sauce. It's a limited time thing. Shout out to Slim. He's the one that alerted me to it. And it's like a spicy garlic sauce. And I tried it yesterday with lunch, and I just kept going. I said, I know I've had something similar to this. I couldn't put my finger on it. And then it like dawned on me that sometimes when I order Chinese, I'll order the I think they call it the Chinese pizza. I forget, but it's like the little. They're really good. They're like little like a bread kind of little like, they have some spice. They're like these little slices, and they have a dipping sauce. And that sauce that McDonald's has, it's like a spicy garlicky sauce. I think it's the same kind of sauce that you get with the little Chinese pizza that you dip the pizza the bread in. Because I said, I know I've tasted something like this before, and I couldn't remember it, and then all of a sudden it just hit me. I said, oh yeah, when I get Chinese pizza, it's like that sauce. But I like it, I think it's good. Problem with some of these places is when they do something, they put something new on the menu, it's limited time. It's like limited time, so it's like you gotta move on it, otherwise you're gonna miss out. And you never know how long they're gonna be, out there for. So, and I saw a thing today. Came across my phone that there's no Roy Rogers here. It's like in Maryland. As I said, we went to one. The only one around here is like on the interstate, like at a rest stop or something. That's far from here, so I'm not going there. But I did put the app on the phone before we went there in Maryland, and I figure, there'll be more trips and, times to go there then. And I got a thing across the screen that said, chicken and waffles. I'm like, oh, of course it comes out now. Where was this a few weeks ago? So Slim, next time I'm out, I think we know what we have to do, as long as they still have the chicken and waffles. Of course, I don't know if it's just a breakfast thing or if it's an all-day thing. Of course, there's some places where you can get chicken and waffles all day. So I don't know if that's the same at Roy Rogers or not, but I'll find out one in August, I guess, as long as it's still around. But again, limited time. Like, great, of course. And of course, this week is Shark Week. So happy Shark Week to all out there. I enjoy Shark Week. It's fun to learn some things about, about sharks. They're very fascinating animals. I know, obviously, there's a lot of fear with them too. Including with me, of course, like many people, when I saw Jaws, it makes going in the water a little harrowing at times, but I enjoy Shark Week. I like watching the different specials and such. There's so much about, about sea life that there's so many different species of animals that still haven't been discovered. It's probably one of the areas in the world that is just very undiscovered. There's so many deep trenches and crevices in the ocean, just go down for miles. There's no way, we have yet to have the technology to do it. So there must be many, many, many different species of animals that we just don't. People are still finding new species of animals on land, so you can imagine what it's like in the oceans. So I do enjoy Shark Week every year from Discovery Channel. Now it's like this huge event now. And other networks do stuff too, like Nat Geo has their own Shark Week, like the week before. And of course, Discovery's what made it famous, what made it popular. But you have all these other, and then all these networks will show like the shark movies, like Jaws comes on, and all the other shark movies start coming out. Open water and 27 meters down or whatever, and then you got the Shallows and all these different movies. And then of course, some of my personal favorites start popping out again, like Sharknado, and I see Slim probably just rolled his eyes. Oh God. Five-headed shark terror, Slim. Oh boy, I do miss that. The Sci-Fi Network, because of course Sharknado became the big thing, and they would put out all these sequels every year. So they used to have a week devoted to it, and they would put all these movies on. These crazy shark movies on all week long. It was like a big thing leading up to the latest Sharknado movie. And of course that was years ago. They don't do that anymore. But they used to put out some beauties. They used to every week Sci-Fi used to do like their own whatever movie, and they were just these crazy movies that they would put out. It'd be like Sci-Fi original, Sci-Fi Network original movie, and it was like whatever they come up with, they would always premiere every Saturday night. And during the whole day would just be, because they would put on the older stuff, throughout the day, and then their new premiere would be that night. Whatever crazy movie, monster movie, scary movie, whatever they were debuting. And that went away. And then they just stopped doing it. And they weren't great movies, but just the overacting and everything, and just some of the things they used to do. Which is part of the reason that I still watch the LMN movies on the LMN network. They're just so formulaic, and they're just, the overacting is just you can't look away. It's like a car wreck. The plots are just I can't get enough. I don't know why. I can't even. I just can't get enough. But it's always the same. Always the same. The plot, no matter what the story revolves around, it always ends basically the same way. The guys are always stupid. They get caught very easily. There's always, some blunt object that usually the woman, someone's going to pick up and hit someone over the head with, And the person who gets hit with the head never, over the head, never hears the footsteps coming behind. Never. Just, it doesn't matter. They could be wearing like the most noisy shoes in the world. They're not going to hear the person sneaking up behind them. And they get hit over the head, and that's it, pretty much. The ones that are better is the ones where they actually have a tussle. You know, they get a little fight going, roll around a little bit. You know, those are the ones that I tend to enjoy a little more than just one poop and it's over. You know, if there's a gun, there's usually going to be a wrestle, and then the gun is always going to get pointed towards the bad person, and they get shot in the stomach, and that's it. Always. Never fails. It's always going to get turned around. Boom, that's it. Oh, there's a shock. The rope that they use to tie up someone is always the most flimsy thing in the world. And so whoever's tied up in the chair always gets out of it because they don't know how to tie knots. And they always use rope. Like, you would think one, you know, maybe use something a little stronger. No, it's always rope. And the person's going to leave the... It's like the Bond movies, right? Where they keep Bond alone. Or MacGyver, where they always put him in a room with stuff that he can use. Or the A-Team, for that matter, back in the day. We're gonna put the A-Team in a shed full of tools and things that can be used as weapons. And we're going to leave them in there and think, oh, everything's going to be okay. Right? This is the same thing. All right, you're gonna get this person. You're gonna put them in a chair with rope, little flimsy rope. You're gonna walk away and think, now what could happen now? Oh, but I can't get enough. It's just they're the greatest because the overacting in these things. It's just, it really, oh, it does me good to see it. Yeah. But, you know, you can do like the play-by-play with it. You know how it's going to go. It's like, okay, so there's this one person, they have a friend. The one person is going to be tied up. The friend's going to find them. The bad person is going to think to take care of the friend. They're going to forget about the other person in the chair. Or they're talking to the other person, forgetting the friend is there, and the friend is going to get the blunt object and hit him over the head. Or the mother, they're going to forget about the mother. They're going to be telling all about their plan to the person in the chair, and the mother's going to sneak up behind them, and the blunt object, here it comes, there it is. There's the crowbar. We knew there was going to be a crowbar somewhere. Yep, yeah, there he goes. Yep, there he is. But it's just so great, the overacting in these things. And you actually have some actors and actresses that were like famous back in the day, and that they do these movies. Now they got a paycheck out of it at least. I don't know, man. It's, with the things I do for entertainment sometimes, it really just... All right, well, we made it to Citizens Bank Park. And it took an hour and 19 minutes. Oh, my. But, you know, had a little conversation here. Yeah, this is what I do. And hope to see a win tonight. Get their 61st win of the season. And keep this going, right? Keep this going. Here on 80s night at the ballpark. So I hope you enjoyed the time with me here. Thank you all for joining in. I think I'll probably end it here before I go park. So I really don't, believe it or not, I really don't have anything else to say, which is rare. So, but I do have this to say as always, right? What do you have to do? You have to leave those likes, hit the subscribe button if you already haven't done so. We're still trying to get to 2K this year in 2024. So let's keep hitting that subscribe button and hit the bell icon so you continue to get notified to all future content by yours truly. Oh, finding a parking spot's going to be fun today. Oh my, this is interesting. But anyhow, I will get going for now, and I will see you all in the next one. You all take care. Go Phillies. All right, everyone. Take care.